Hi, I'm Maria. This is day 2, I think, of making little videos. I figure that it's, the apocalypse is here, and now is as good a time as any to let whatever is in me out, and I don't know that it would be of use to anyone. I don't know if anyone will watch these aside from the few friends that I'm sending links to. Um, and but as I go along, maybe I'll start to share a little bit about my journey to a Christianity that is becoming rooted in a lot of the Bible, and yet is also beyond, because the way that I mostly pray is in silence. The kingdom of God is within, and when I get quiet, I feel that peace, and there are times where that peace can come into me and flow through me. But what I want to talk about today, and again, my name is Maria. I want to talk about tough days. I had a tough day today. I've been struggling with insomnia for a few years now. I typically have been having anywhere from, I would say, 3 to 6 sleepless nights a month. That means I'm awake for 36 to 48 hours. And it just throws everything off, and including my mood, my whole circadian rhythm, my ability to, my energy levels, everything. I also have an autoimmune disease, so I think it aggravates that as well. And this past week, I've had 2 such episodes of being awake for 36 hours at a time, and then sleeping during the day. When I can't do it any longer, like I do try to hang on until the end of the day to try to recalibrate to a normal sleep-wake cycle, but that doesn't always happen. And last Thursday, I went to the local church that I go to. They typically have Bible studies on Thursday nights, and they've been watching various Christian films and documentaries. And I was so exhausted on Thursday, and yet I went. And I don't know how I stayed awake for it. It had to do with the 7 churches of the Revelations of Revelations, and I don't know. I mean, it might have been thrilling for some people, but I struggled through it. I found it, part 1 anyway, a little bit slow, and and yet at the end of it, when there were popcorn style comments and takeaways from it, I just perked up and just blurted out a whole lot about history repeating itself, and the state of the world and how that darkness is capturing people again, humanity, and the perversions of goodness that happen when we're not free, when we're not living and being who we truly are. And to me, Jesus, Yeshua, was a living example of that, an embodied example of that. And I'm not saying that we all need to be saints, but yet he had grace and love and humility and peace, and yet he had the strength. He had strength to stand up for what was right. And so I feel like humanity's really lost its way, and I've been, I'm not excluded from that. I have lost my way, and I'm finding my way back now. So, tough days. Today was a tough day. Up for 36 hours. My body not feeling well because of all of this. And then when I did get up today, I watched a musical called Once with Glenn Hansard, the Irish singer-songwriter, musician who passed away this week after a motorcycle accident. He's not someone that I actually had on my radar ever. I may have heard one of his songs, but he seemed to be a light in the darkness online this week. A lot of good people knew of him, may have known him. At least they had such kind words to say about him. And so I wanted to watch that film, and I did. And it's such a beautiful independent film. Very plain, just very little production value as far as bells and whistles. Just a very strong, simple story, beautiful songs. And some of the songs broke me open, broke my heart. I felt a tremendous amount of grief today, loss, and also appreciation for beauty and human potential. And yet it was tough. And to add to that, last night I discovered that someone I'd been friends with, the daughter of an ex partner, boyfriend, seem to vanish from my social media. And I don't know the reason for that. Could be anything. But I suspect it's probably because of a difference in perspective. And I've learned over these years of the hard way, trying to convince people of things, recognizing patterns that I've lived through that have been where I've been blindsided and totally unaware, and I emerge, with a reality inversion, not knowing which way is up or down, not being able to trust my own perception of reality because of chronic deceit and betrayal. So, an indoctrination, manipulation, emotional manipulation, and so I've been at the receiving end of that, and in some ways, there are many who have been targeted by individuals who have very self-serving, amoral drives, and make up, to who they are and how they operate in the world, and that can be seen as that kind of a relationship. When you're in a relationship with someone like that, it's very soul destroying. It's as if they're vampirically sucking you dry, trying to take all the goodness out of you, but also distorting your perception of reality. And in some ways, their mind virus becomes a contagion, and you end up with fleas. So when you come out of a relationship like that, it really requires a lot of self-reflection, but support. And for 3 years, I struggled to find support, the right kind of support. And it just fed the shame that I was talking about yesterday. The other example I gave was so trivial, but the roots of shame are deep and very dark, destructive, and that was just a very tiny example of how it can affect like the most insignificant things in your life. It's like air, it becomes the air you breathe. That's interesting. In any case, I do want to read a couple things, because the tough day, there was a lot of grief for the world, a lot of the world has gone insane. I feel like I'm in a loony bin. The world feels like a loony bin, and I want to hold on to my own sanity, and it feels like Christian community is helpful for that. So I've recently returned several weeks ago to that community, and because they do support one another. They're not perfect by any stretch. They're humans, a group of humans, and and at the same time, doing this alone isn't working. And I'm also being pointed towards getting to know the Bible more. Something that I've resisted for a long time, for various reasons. But I have this little book here. I don't know if this is going to show up properly. Backwards, actually, here. It's called You Matter, Devotions and Prayers for a Girl's Heart. And there's, on page 24, it's titled Tough Days. I'm just going to read from 2 Corinthians 12, verse 10. I receive joy when I am weak. I receive joy when people talk against me and make it hard for me and try to hurt me and make trouble for me. I receive joy when all these things come to me because of Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong. So, it then goes on to talk about being strong, and it goes to Ephesians 6, where verse 10 is the beginning, and that's the beginning of the armor of God. And, much of my day today, I was trying to sleep, recover, and also I was noticing that I'm very vulnerable right now. I'm very vulnerable because I'm sleep deprived and upset about the world, and relationships, another relationship, gone, not being powerless to do anything about that, and needing to accept it, and also, missing my dog Joya so much. I could probably cry just cry all day. But what I'm about to do is read the armor of God, and then I know what I'm being prompted to do is to sit, to sit in silence with our Creator, with God. Invite Christ, Yeshua, to sit with me, to be with me, and whatever comes up emotionally, find that balance between indulging emotion and feeling that that peace, coming back, holding. I find that when I I just hold my heart, it's like I am comforting that grieving, sad part, and I can feel that I'm being loved. I can do right now. I feel that I'm being loved, just here and now. And I'm feeling that love, the grief flowing out into the world. I feel a tremendous amount of grief for where we find ourselves. It's easy to get caught up in blame and resentment, and wanting to shame others, but I have to find that line of balance where I know that shame is not from God, and if I act in that way of shaming or advocating for harm towards others, I'm no better than the ones I could be railing about, and so I'll just come back. I do love humanity. I love God more. The truth that is beyond this world is more real than this world. I know that to be true. And I can miss the person. I can miss my dog. I can miss the way humans used to be towards each other. Generally, just around in our little corners of the world that we inhabit. I can miss the good moments from my childhood, and I can miss people who have passed on, and people that I wasn't able to forgive while they were alive. I can forgive myself for being imperfect, but ultimately I know that all of that, everything, I surrender to God. I surrender everything to God. And God is the Redeemer, the Renewer, the Restorer. And in this moment, I am feeling my cat, Vinny, sneaking up behind me. Vinny. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Put on the full armor of God so that you will be able to stand firm against the schemes of the devil. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the powers, against the world forces of this darkness, against the spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the full armor of God so that you will be able to resist in the evil day and have done everything to stand firm. Stand firm, therefore, having girded your loins with truth and having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. In addition to all, taking up the shield of faith, with which you will be able to extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. With all prayer and petition, pray at all times in the Spirit, and with this in view, be on the alert, with all perseverance and petition for all the saints, and pray on my behalf, that utterance may be given to me in the opening of my mouth, to make known with boldness the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains, that in proclaiming it I may speak boldly as I ought to speak. No doubt you've experienced tough days, and we're never assured of easy days, so they're a gift when they're received and recognized. And I'm thankful for every day that I have here. For every day, even the really crappy days that I've had, because I'm still here. And I know that we've all been given life. And life is so mysterious, fleeting, and precious, and difficult. And we're in extremely difficult times. And we need all of the fortification that we can get. And it's not in reliance on other people. People can be mistaken. People can be compromised. Even the intention to do good in the world can become distorted through our own neuroses. And, the good can end up doing more monstrous things than, just someone being impartial and at peace in themselves. And I've been one of those people who've tried to do good and save others, and it's a destructive way. It's self-destructive, and it's only in hindsight and living this long that I see the fruit of those patterns that thankful to God that they're being removed, even if I've had to walk through the flames and almost be destroyed to arrive here. And there's still so much refining and ripening that needs to happen in me. Don't get me wrong. I am not, I'm just beginning this walk anew from a different reality and understanding. And one of my prayers right now, just popping into my mind, is I'm asking for humility. I'm asking for perseverance. I'm asking for the courage to keep making little videos, if that is my purpose. God, beloved, I don't know. I don't trust my own ego to make that decision, and yet here I am doing this. I pray that somehow this is of use. And it's not just navel gazing, you know? Just looking out the window, and it's evening and it's getting quieter. The birds have stilled. I can still hear traffic on the highway. And Vinny is gone. Maybe you'll see him one day. I'm just going to go back to this little book, You Matter, Devotions and Prayers for a Girl's Heart. And I'm just going to read just the rest of that page on tough days. I'll start with a repeat of 2 Corinthians 12, verse 10. I receive joy when I am weak. I receive joy when people talk against me and make it hard for me and try to hurt me and make trouble for me. I receive joy when all these things come to me because of Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Over the next few days, I'm going to focus on something a friend of mine said to me yesterday. One of the church ladies. She said, remember that every morning, every day you wake up, every moment, you're being born anew. You're letting go of the past, burdens, the old wounds, the backpack of history and identification, attachments, stories, troubles. Each day, you're being made new. Each day is fresh. And I'm going to try to focus on that for the next few days. And if that speaks to you, I invite you to try it along with me. I love experiments. It's what I see that as, an experiment. And again, it's all in the hands of the Creator. All in God's hands. Everything. Everything. So, I'm not naive enough to think or believe that everything will go my way and I will live forever. In this mortal body and, in this world. Of course not. Death comes to everyone. Even Christ himself. So, but I know that I can be at peace. And we can be at peace. Even in that. So, I hope that you have a lovely rest of your day, night, and that if you have a tough day, Let yourself feel some of that. And remember, 90 seconds. 90 seconds. It's not a lot to give up to become fully human in yourself, to know what is underneath, to feel Christ's love for you and me. And underneath it all, there's a pool of peace. And any moment of peace, sitting at the feet of the one who created the universe, is time well spent. All right. I wish you a good night. Bless you. Amen.